Hello, dear listeners. I'm coming to you with a brand new posh microphone from Shaw, an MV7 on an arm and everything. I feel proper professional. Anyway, I have popped on early just to ask for a favour, really. As you know, I work really hard on this podcast. I love doing it. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's all I think about. And I have taken a chance and entered a bunch of podcast awards. But for one of them in particular, I need your help in the form of magical witchy votes. If you'd like to help me, please visit www.britishpodcastawards.com/voting and type the Bell Witch podcast into the little bar. It's very important that you put the Bell Witch podcast, because if you just put Bell Witch, it won't find it for some reason. It has to be verified with a email address, meaning you can only vote once. But if you add multiple email addresses, there's no stopping you. If you were pulled to do that, I would be eternally grateful to you for supporting me through all this 18 months of hardcore podcast learning. But as well as that, hardcore internal healing. And I'm so grateful that you choose me to listen to every 2 weeks, that you've just found me and you're binging through me. People in Australia, people in America, a little bit in China, quite a lot in Europe. It's really lovely that I'm being discovered. I am just so grateful for you choosing to listen to the Bell Witch podcast, Witching in the 21st Century. I shall add the link in the show notes for ease of finding it. And without further ado, enjoy the latest Solitary Witch episode. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of techno, witchcraft and digital paganism. Now, I've been thinking about this topic quite a lot, and when I thought about covering it for a podcast episode, I wasn't really sure if there were much in it, if it was just such a new topic, a topic that's quite kind of blasé, really. I guess because we're all just so used to technology being around us, using it for everyday life. Was it really going to be worth covering it? But I thought I'd have a look into it, and the stuff I found was just so amazing. It has got a relatively new history, but it went back further than I actually thought it would. The more I researched, the more obvious it became just how entwined technology with witchcraft today really is. And with the rise of the wellness industry and witch talk on TikTok booming in lockdown, I realised the force is strong in this area of witching in the 21st century. And so I've been writing a few notes and doing a bit of research, and I hope I do it justice. I found some incredible resources, which I will credit at the end because I couldn't have done it without them. But anywho, let's dive in, witches. Techno-paganism is the merging of neo-paganism and magical rituals with digital technologies of the day and age. This may be through the use of technology merely just as an aid, such as video conferencing, for example, or it may be a worship of the technology itself. I mean, that kind of blows my mind a little bit. But then I was thinking, when you put so much love into your tablet, your mobile, we do really worship technology in the 21st century. How lost are you when you lose your mobile phone? People worship their mobile phone and they trust it with so much insider information. When I read that quote, it was from an older text, and I don't think that's what it meant. I think it was probably referring to how, I don't know, the microwave or something really mundane. I don't think they realised how much we actually do worship technology today in 2024. The internet, for instance, may be seen by some as having spiritual significance because, you know, we ask questions on Google or whatever and we get an instant answer. How lucky we are to have that relationship with technology kind of becomes a bit human. Maybe not human, but it has a presence, doesn't it? And we all ask it for advice and guidance on an hourly basis, never mind a daily basis. Don't get me started on Skynet and all that. It's going that way, isn't it, witches? So, techno-paganism. Techno music may also be involved in techno-paganism and connections with modern tribal and urban primitive movements such as cyberpunk, urban shamanism, rave culture, all associated with electronic dance music and the roots of techno-paganism, which began in the early 90s. Digital paganism and cyber/techno witchcraft. No, that's not right, I'm getting it mixed up. So it's techno-paganism and digital witchcraft. I think that's it, yes, that's it. Do indeed seem to be a little bit different in these two practices. I find when I was researching, digital witchcraft tends to refer to the use of technology in witchcraft with rituals and spells, such things like using apps, social media, even virtual reality to connect to the spiritual realm. Whereas on the other hand, cyber paganism tends to be kind of like a pop culture, subculture lifestyle with the music and the dance and the computer aesthetic, I guess. It probably is a bit deeper than that, but from what I was researching, it seemed a lot more broader, whereas digital witchcraft is literally the tools we use to learn, and cyber paganism is kind of like cybergoth, cyberpunk. I do struggle to keep them separated, but I think that's a dyslexia thing again. I found this fantastic quote from Dr. Alex Ketchum, who is an assistant professor at McGill's University Institute for Gender, Sexuality and Feminist Studies, IGSF. She's also the director of Just Feminist Tech and Scholarship Lab there, so she knows stuff, proper brainy. The term techno-paganism tends to be more of a figure of the 1990s alternative culture, with a bit of neo-paganism mixed in with raver culture, raver music, whereas cyber witch, aka digital witchcraft, doesn't have that same kind of overlap. The cyber witch seems to be the kind that harkens back to longer traditions of witchcraft, covens, and then this is taken up in popular culture, like reimagining the figure witch in today's modern consumers. So when I looked into it, the origins of techno witchcraft and digital paganism can be traced back to the rise of the internet in the early 90s, because more and more people began to connect online, and witches and pagans found new ways to practice craft in a digital space, and the world of possibilities opened, you know, for those looking to explore spirituality in a modern context. One of the most amazing earliest mentions of techno witchcraft in popular culture can be found in the hit TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, loads of people loved Buffy. It was a massive pop culture following in the 90s. I hate to say it, I wasn't really that into it. I guess I was just a bit young, I don't know. It just didn't really ever get to me. My sister-in-law absolutely adores Buffy the Vampire Slayer though. She watches it even today. But in this one episode that aired in April 97, I, Robot You, Jane, Series 1, Episode 8 for those Buffy geeks. The story goes, a demon is accidentally unleashed from a book that has been scanned into the computer. And in this episode, it explores the dangers of technology and the ways in which it can be used for both good and evil in the world of witchcraft. How amazing is that? They were just so far ahead of the times. I bet they didn't even realise how spot on they were. It just blows my brain. So there's a character in this episode called Jenny, who I think is a teacher, and she identifies herself as a techno-pagan, which means that she is able to cast certain spells and use technology to her advantage, but doesn't have the power of a true witch. She ends up helping Giles several times and eventually starts a bit of a relationship with him after Jenny makes the first move. Ooh! You might know the episode I'm talking about. I haven't seen it, but I bet it's a right cult classic. So that was the first ever time, I think, techno, witchcraft and cyber paganism was referred to at the time modern context of a computer. At the same time, there was a notable movement growing online in terms of coming together in a chat room and trying to create magic. A notable group of this movement was called Jaguar Moon. This is the first ever online coven that started in May 2000 on the World Wide Web and is still live and kicking today. I think it's in America and it has coven members all over the world. It's going really strong. The founder, Lisa McSherry, considers cyberspace as like an astral space. So when she accesses cyberspace through the computer, she says it's like touching the astral realms, between the witches. And that's where they do their work as a cyber coven. And even to this day, they still do cyber coven work. I think that is absolutely bloody brilliant. It is well cool. There was also a rather spiffing book ahead of its time that came out in 2002 called the Cyber Spell Book, Magic in the Virtual World, mixing modern technology with witchcraft by Cyrona Knight and Patricia Telesco. It says, although thousands of Wicca enthusiasts use the web for daily research and to meet people, they may not realise their computer's witchcraft-related properties. For example, a keyboard can represent a creative flow with a delete button instruction, which could be seen as an instrument for banishing, and the shift key helping ones to shift between the ordinary and the magical worlds. The authors explain ways to integrate technology from cell phones to lawnmowers with spells, making this a truly up-to-date resource. Now, it goes without saying, this will no longer be up-to-date because technology has come a hell of a way since 2002. I did look into buying this book and it was really expensive and probably not a good spending of money because it'd be just so out of date. I think it talks about the use of a floppy disk to save files on. Floppy disks? I didn't know them when they were floppy, but I knew them when they were small and hard plasticky. But apparently they used to be like record sleeves and flop about, which is why they were called a floppy disk. But I remember saving shit on floppy disks when I was a kid, like 1 or 2 word documents. It took ages. And if you put it too near a fridge or something, it'd delete it, wouldn't it? It'd clear it. It's madness. But apparently in this book it states, if you haven't got something in your house that you need for magic, you can save clip art onto a floppy disk, like say for a herb or a crystal, and then that could stand in for the herb, which I think is really bloody cool. I mean, even today you could make a digital representation of an altar, that you could print out that's just symbols, and then you could have a pocket altar then, couldn't you, in your wallet or something. Another thing the book mentions is other technology around the house at the time. This is in America as well, so things such as an air conditioner could be used to cool the air around a spell to help you cool emotions. You could use a calculator or a bread maker or a digital camera in all your workings. CDs to represent mirrors to scrying, and I think there was mentions of a microwave to, I don't know, maybe heat up water instead of boiling it or something. I think some of it were probably a bit like, what? But they were just trying to be ahead of the times, witches, ahead of the times. That would it. You could microwave a spell to speed up the outcome. But then my mind just goes, well, what's going to happen to the spell? You're kind of using harmful energy. Nuking it, that's what you're doing. I don't know. It just made me go like, well, that doesn't feel right. I mean, people must have done it at the time, but I don't know about you. I try and use my microwave less, not more. I use it just as a timer mostly for my boiled eggs and to do popcorn. It's like a OTT popcorn maker that takes up large amounts of my kitchen space. Anyway, back to the subject of digital witchcraft. It seemed to have just hung around in the background of the early 2000s, trying not to be noticed and only be noticed by those in the know. But then, between the years of 2012 to maybe 2016-ish, when Tumblr and blogging and internet profiles started to become a thing and more people started getting used to having the internet available in the pocket at a good fast rate, enabling us to do things quickly without that ear-splitting, horrible dial-up noise that used to use the phone wires. Can you remember that? Oh God, it were nasty. Like some kind of robot howling, more like screeching than howling. Facebook, and people were having online profiles and being vocal on the internet. I mean, I remember being at college and being in chat rooms. God, what were they called now? Not chat roulette, that's something completely different. I don't know, you know, like MySpace and ASL. And maybe people would write spells together and stuff. I used to just quite like writing the words, you know, and they'd just travel up the screen. God, them days were brilliant. Microsoft Messenger and Yahoo Chat, AOL and all that. Golden days. In June of 2016, digital witchcraft and cyber witching and all that got brought back into mainstream media when a user on Tumblr called Birdie Witch posted an emoji spell with the word Trump, bookended by a crystal ball, a red X, and a downward stock symbol and a red pushpin. And they wrote, quote, "A spell to take down Donald Trump. Likes, charge it, reblogs, cast it." And this post went viral because a lot of people obviously felt the same and wanted to hex Trump in 2016. So really, this turned masses of people to partake in witchcraft for this topic that everybody felt so passionate about. And the post has about 60,000 notes, which is a combination apparently of all the reblogs, likes and replies posted on this emoji spell. I think emoji spells are quite a big deal today. I've never used one, but I can see why they kind of work because it's just like an updated way in my mind of using sigils or basic symbols that are drawn. So that apparently got quite a lot of traction in the world of internets. I don't know if it worked. Probably didn't work because bloody hell, we had him, didn't we? And then Panny D, as Cult Mother refers to it lovingly, beautiful lockdown came along, and I think TikTok was in full swing by then. Witch talk, hashtag witch talk, became a big deal. It's been viewed more than like 30 billion times as witch talk. But it's amazing you can go on and search for witch talk and there's all these people sharing their craft. But I think in 2020, because we were all bored and locked down, didn't a load of baby witches try hexing the moon? Tons of people got on with it and hexed the moon. And I remember reading about this and thinking, like, what the hell is this? It's just silly. But a lot of people got quite scared because I always say, you know, witchcraft for me magically works so much better with numbers. If witches all over the world cast a spell to hex the moon, what's going to happen? It does kind of scare me because I think you have a bit of respect and knowledge as a witch when you live this magical life. If everybody has the same intention, which is underlying in magical workings, kind of creates a cone. But then maybe the moon just can't be hexed because it's the moon and it's above us billions and billions of light years or whatnot away from Earth. Or perhaps the hex hasn't even got to it yet. It's still travelling at the speed of light and it might just boink off the moon like a spring hitting my head when my kids throw a toy at it or something. Hello lovely listeners, I just wanted to stop the podcast for a moment and tell you about this wonderful new online community I've discovered just recently. Pagans of the North online magazine is a network for pagans, witches, heathens and others on similar paths in and around the north of England, providing a free online magazine, a blog, a directory and other resources on the website as well as online courses, offering free advertising for businesses and sellers, highlighting the north of England but read by people nationally and internationally. It's a great place to find magic in different businesses or connect with like-minded souls, speaking about being a pagan and a witch in the 21st century as well as all the centuries ago. Every issue is unique and absolutely beautiful. You can subscribe at pagansofthenorth.co.uk for early access to the magazine, news and events coming up, as well as other little sneak peeks and Easter eggs. This is a free magazine, so it's entirely run by volunteers who would love to connect with you. Got a business you want to advertise? Then give us an email. You can email us at pagansofthenorth@gmail.com, and we're always looking for people to write stuff in, from poetry to a subject you're passionate about to a blog post and all kinds of magical subjects. Come aboard, join our little community, make friends and unearth some more magic in your beautiful pagan life. After I'd done all this research about the history of online paganism, techno, witchcraft and all that jazz, I had a right good think on the many ways you can identify and use cyber witchcraft and online witching in the 21st century, because that's what this is all about, right? I ended up with quite a few examples just to briefly mention, and I thought you might enjoy it. So I suppose there's the obvious stuff like typed up Book of Shadows instead of written in the cloud or on a memory stick. That's pretty good for fast access and saving the trees. But I can't help but think a lot of beauty of the written word is lost within technology. I think there's a place for both of them in your witchcraft. I do have a lot of books and stuff saved that I found, and I have in a little folder called My Witch Shit that I can access when I like. There is a lot to be said about how you save your work. Does it even get printed out? Does anything get printed out anymore? Is that the right direction to go? And then there's the virtual rituals. With the rise of video conferencing, platforms like Zoom, many witches are now able to gather virtually from all over the world to perform rituals and spells together. There's less barriers about coming together with people who you get on with. They can be celebrated in real time, creating a sense of community and unity despite physical distances. But then people argue the internet can make us feel more connected when in fact we're less connected. And I kind of agree with both things, if I'm honest. I do like to meet in person if I can, but it's not always doable, is it? And the whole point of technology is it makes our life easier, more time to do things, be convenient. The internet makes life so convenient. With all that comes digital spell casting, all together online, Zoom circles like Jaguar Moon. I always remembered, in Back to the Future where Marty's grown up and apparently old and he's looking at a big screen with all these people shouting at him and calling him a chicken, and he gets right cross because he hates being called a chicken. It just amazes me how on point they were back then. I mean, because that is a Zoom conference. Back to the Future successfully predicted Zoom conferences I mean, we haven't got hoverboards or laces that tie themselves yet, but we do have 3D hologram adverts, don't we? I'm pretty sure, so it's not that far-fetched. Witchcraft apps, there is an abundance of witchcraft apps out there right now, from spell libraries to moon phase trackers and tarot reading apps to meditation guides. You know, these apps make it easier for practitioners to access information and tools to enhance their practice on the go when they've got a moment on the bus, you know, to take a breather. I use the Moon app a lot. I love Moonology. It's one of my absolute favourite witchcraft apps. It's so beautiful. They've got their own tarot deck as well, which I absolutely do own and don't use. It's a pip deck, but just the style, the gradient of it all, it's just wonderful. And they do a rune of the day and a tarot of the day, and they do a little tarot spread, and they've got amazing little bite-sized information of all kinds of spirituality related topics. It's a really good app. I'm always on the verge of buying it. I know there's apps that create digital sigils for you that you can do on your phone and then use them as a screensaver. That's pretty cool as well. It isn't as good as a drawn sigil, of course it isn't, but like anything, if you're in need of some fast, digital sigil creating apps are pretty bloody brilliant. Then you can put that on your screen lock, your manifestation board. You can create that on Instagram and manifest on the go, and every time you look at your phone you'll see your manifestation board as a screensaver, which I absolutely just love. I mean, iPhone have had an update, haven't they, now, where they've got freeform. You can put pictures and tags and yellow memo pads and all that jazz. It's pretty brilliant to create a manifestation board on the go. I do this really cool thing where I put all my apps in folders, and I call my folders different titles that I want to manifest. So the one with all my social media in is labelled I am connected. The one that's got all my bank stuff is called I am rich. All the apps to do with my children are labelled I love my kids. I am in control, that's my work stuff and time and my period trackers. I love to run, which is Couch to 5K and Strata. I am witchy, which is all the witchy apps. I love to travel, which is like my bus apps and my train apps. I've always done that, and I think I might have read it in a witchcraft book. I use my folders to help me have a bit of a manifesting nudge. Every time I go to my phone, I will automatically read I am connected. The phone is quite central to cyber witchcraft these days because we just use it so much, don't we? We put so much love and luck into it. It's like a black mirror. I mean, you can use your phone as a manifestation mirror. The black mirror, when it's locked, you know, you hold this every day and you pour your heart and soul into it. If you're going to get any divinational material or content from higher realms, it's going to be in your black mirror of the phone, which you carry on your persons all the time. It's fascinating. Another one is manifesting passwords. I've got to thank Canny Crystals, the podcast, for this. Mark mentioned in a recent episode that I listened to that he changes all his passwords to something is trying to manifest. So every time he goes to log in, he has to type, you know, like 30k and probably a load of numbers so you can't hack him. Because it's repetitive and you do it so many times. It's like the 369, you know, reading it every time. And that helps you apparently to enhance your manifestation of the life you want to live. So that's another way technology can aid you in manifesting. Emoji spells, covered that already briefly, but there's a huge movement of emoji spells. From what I read, apparently the best way to start an emoji spell is the crystal ball placed at both the beginning and the end of the spell. The caster would often choose emojis that represents their selves, like a girl with a raised hand is common, signalling the call out to the universe. I mean, I use the witch one quite a lot in my social media presence because it represents me as a witch. The happy face, if you're trying to be a positive person, After this, the body of the magical request should follow. So it might be, I want to be a musical superstar. So you'd put yourself and then maybe the star emoji and then maybe some music related emojis. Or perhaps I want to adopt the perfect cat soon. Is that for me? And there's that arrow that says soon. You could put that to a cat with some stars next to it or a magic wand. Apparently the reason why they work is to cast them, you need to send them. So it's not really obvious where you send them to, but I guess the more people that read them, the more it'll help affirm the magic of the emoji spell. I'm going to try emoji spells. I'm going to put it on my list of magic to do because I find it really fascinating. Seems like such a young'un's game though. Digital pets apparently could be magic to, again, manifest a pet. I don't even know if they're a thing anymore. Do you still get Tamagotchis that can live in your phone? Digital divination. Do they still have that Inspire Me where you can be inspired? I think Bing have it, Inspire Me, and it's just like whatever you come to first. You could use it as an oracle or something. Maybe it comes to you and because you can divine in anything. Everybody knows that. You can divine in water, you can divine in smoke, candles, fires, bones, ribbons, photographs, anything. If you see a pattern in your screensaver at work, it's absolutely a message. I really like the idea that e-shrines and altars can be created, like on Pinterest and Instagram. When you look at inspiration and you make a Pinterest board, that could be an altar or a manifestation board, a dream board. The things you see and visualize help you to cast spells and manifest. When I create an altar, I always upload it to Facebook and then I put one of the pictures as a cover photo on my Facebook page. So it's like my altar is in cyberspace on my personal profile too. I don't know why, it helps me. It's like I've got it in real life and I've also got it on my own cyberspace life, protecting me and representing a moment in my life. It's all images in it, using it to represent sympathetic magic. I loved what we said earlier about printing out something. If you need a certain herb and you just haven't got it and you can't get it, you could find a picture of this herb, title it on Word, print it out, and then there you go. That can be a stand-in to represent that herb and its properties as you cast the spell. Why wouldn't it work? I swing like a pendulum. It can't work. But then why not? Because a lot of this witchcraft is about representing, finding objects and giving them a purpose and giving them representation and intention. A talisman is just usually a found or made object that you've given it something to do. Why can't an image off the internet printed out in your hand do the same thing? It's just a right mind boggle. Oh God, I'm so into it. I love the idea of it. Think of what's inside of your technology. It's got crystals in it and it's got gold and coppers from the earth, metal dug from the earth is currently sat in your phone that you're holding in your hand, along with glass, quartz. They enhance our life through technology as well as spiritual practices. So there's a lot of little overlapping ideology and thoughts there in terms of what we do as magical practitioners, and also technology today uses some of the same materials we use to spiritually enhance our life. Both cyberspace and magical space are purely manifested in the imagination. Quote from Mark Persce, is it? Pesce? I can't say it. Love that. It is. I mean, where is cyberspace? It's just so instant. We think of it and it is a bit like imagination. It appears in our mind, appears in no man's land. You can't physically hold it, but you can imagine it and you can make it do stuff. and give us answers just by typing a word. And then you've got Chat GPT, which is the most current thing at the moment as I'm doing this podcast. That's one step further, where it's got a mind of its own. It's AI. It can write you a book on how to be a witch, can write you a manifestation script. It can tell you how to meditate if you can't think of how to meditate. It can talk to you. It can read meditations out to you with a background bed. Image Bing can create images from your mind. You tell it what to make. I tell you what, that's good as well for if you have a dream and the dream has got some kooky stuff in it. I think I did it recently. I had a dream. I was in a desert and there were a box and a black snake, and I was stood and the snake was coming towards me to strike me, and I think my horse was in the background as well. I typed all this into Bing AI and it gave me a few options of images, and one of these images was like, Jesus Christ, that's my dream. AI images has ability to create my dream in a JPEG format. How mind-blowing is that? Oh my God. And then, of course, podcasting, dear listeners, podcasting for me is absolutely a form of witchcraft. Podcasting enhances my craft, my magic, no end. I have learned so much, and people are being drawn to want to come on the show, talk about magic stuff, share knowledge. I think it always, for me, comes back to sharing knowledge online, making it accessible for people who look, not who just fall across it, although some of that does happen. People who are looking, actively looking, they're going to find what they're looking for because of the beauty of the internet. And my inner healing has been huge since podcasting, since editing my own voice, gaining traction and a little following of people that come here to hear what I've got to say on topics such as digital witchcraft and cyber paganism. So I'd like to think I've come full circle on the topic. There's no denying witchcraft is amazing. Witchcraft online has helped witches become less anonymous and more respected, acceptable, and that has got to be a good thing. There are those who don't like online witchcraft, don't really like solitary witchcraft, say it's not what it's all about. That's okay, they can have their opinions. But ultimately, I think paganism and witchcraft is about connecting to the earth, connecting to the seasons, and remembering real life, not getting lost out there in the sea of technology and the internet. Keep it as a tool, like you do your wand and your candles and your altar. It's an important tool, don't get me wrong, it absolutely does have a place and is needed, and it's only going to speed up. The last 100 years has been scarily fast in how we've grown, how modernisation has taken off into the sky. Just try and keep grounded. Don't lose yourself on the internet. Find stuff on the internet, bring it into real life, listen to the birds, take your earphones out and just have silence while you wash up. You don't always have to be learning. You don't always need podcasts in your ears or the non-stop scrolling on TikTok, hashtag baby witch or witch talk. Savour the beautiful moments in real life that ground us, as well as them amazing moments in cyberspace. I do hope that has been alright. I did find myself getting a bit swept up in the conversation I had myself that you're listening to right now. It was such a really cool topic. I really enjoyed researching it, but I have to credit the fabulous websites I came across. zoeelderton.medium.com, Emoji spells as modern witchcraft. wburr.org/endless thread/2022. This was a fabulous podcast I found on W. Burr, Endless Threads, and it was a really engaging conversation between the hosts on cyber witches, from Zoom rituals to casting spells of emojis. That's where I discovered Jaguar Moon coven history and stuff like that. I didn't find it anywhere else, so I really recommend you having a listen to that amazing podcast, Endless Threads. jaguarmoon.org/about. They've got a fantastic website on their own coven, the history, a really inclusive coven which speaks proudly of its diversity and its belief system. Kind of want to join, if I'm honest. After all my reading, quite like to do an episode just on them, because everything I read, it was just absolutely fascinating. And then there were a fantastic read from Witchcraft and Witches.com /type of witches /cyber techno witch. And that was a little brief blog about cyber techno witches by Wise Witch. I got a lot of the Buffy stuff from Wikipedia, digitalwitchcraft.net, and then of course buffy.fandom.com/wiki/iRobotEugene. That was just fab to read. A little trip down memory lane. You have been listening to the Bell Witch podcast, Witching in the 21st Century, created with love and magic by me, Swailes the Friendly Green Witch. Official podcast photographer is Beverly Thornton. Intro music is by Jeff Harvey of Pixabay. The podcast is made on Wave Padmaster and distributed via Zencaster. If you have your own little witchy, spooky podcast, feel free to message me for a trailer swap. Fancy being a guest on the show? Or have you got a desired topic you'd like me to cover? Then please email me on thebellwitchpodcast@yahoo.com. If you are enjoying the show, please leave me a review or a rating, and follow the Bell Witch podcast wherever you listen. It really does help the podcast to survive. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and stay magical, witches!